Hey everyone, Scott here, just demonstrating the latest version of Ubuntu. Just going to go into About, Settings About, use the shortcut. Current version of Ubuntu is 19.04. Got some friends using 18.04 and LTS, long-term support, and 18.10, which is the more up-to-date version of 18. Here you can see my processors, the AMD Ryzen Threadripper 2950X, which is a 16-core processor with 32 logical cores and all the usual stuff. We've got Learn, we've got the disk, we've got updates installed. The updates are already installed, thankfully. I've already done all that. I've downloaded 531.2 meg so far. So it was 531.2. 531.2. I'll just put it in the calculator that I've got next to me. And I go into activities, and we've got Facebook running, we've got personal details for my Ubuntu One account and Firefox privacy, and I'll just load up Google quickly on that one. There we go. So if we go into activities, and then we go into the Ubuntu software, you maximize that. Click on the magnifying glass and type in Android Studio is the easiest way to do the installation, in my opinion. Hopefully it will come up in a sec. There we go. Android Studio Canary. Okay, we just want Android Studio normal. The integrated development environment, or the IDE for Android. So I'm clicking install now, typing in my password. That's doing the install. Minimize you, put you over there. As you can see, it's downloading some more data. Not very quickly, unfortunately. It's speeding up to 1.2. Oh, it's speeding up to 2.0. It's fluctuating a little bit. It's now sitting around 1.8. That's not too bad. So the download size is 972.5 meg. So it will take a few minutes to download. And this is version 3.4.1.0. And we've got the dark yellow and the light color scheme. If you want a light color scheme, I usually go with dark yellow in Ubuntu. And while it's downloading, we might just run a search for Android Studio and see what we can find. So I've got the ad for the download page, which I believe will load eventually. Maybe not. Oh, come on, what are you doing? Oh, it's fine, silly buggers. Doesn't want to load. Firefox is running twice. I'll just kill it. Cancel that. And there we go. Back into Google. Back into. Come on. I might have to kill Firefox. Come on. Quit. There we go. Quit. You want to quit? Yes. So just reopen Firefox. I was doing some system updates before, so it's not unusual for it to do something like that. Google.com.au is my local one. I'll pin that. We'll search for Android Studio. So I've got the download, we've got the user guide, we've got what's new, preview release, release notes, download page for Studio. Install, download, stable, what's new, meet, SDK, Wikipedia page. Those are the only links that I would really trust. What do we got here? MathWorks is alright. Quick Start would be alright for Android. Udemy's got some resources, they're alright. Getting started with Android and Kotlin, that'd be alright. And a whole bunch of other big swag for the links. We can go over here, we've got the Android Studio, and it's still only at 31%, that's alright. I'm already downloading it, as you can see. It says the download size about a little bit bigger, so it might be compressed better on Linux. Ubuntu Snap, we've got the visual layout editor, so you can do nice user interfaces. There's a fast emulator which works under Ubuntu and possibly under Intel Macs, but not AMD Hackintoshes. We've got the APK analyzer. There's a code editor. Obviously, there's a code editor. I mean, that's pretty obvious. There's a build system. There's profilers. There's some videos you might want to look at on this page. This is on develop.android.com/studio. And if I go to that link without my Google ID, it will go to exactly the same page. Just scroll down on the right. So we got some optimize app size and boost install, that sort of stuff. Good stuff to watch. Latest news, there's Canary, there's 3.6 is available and 3.5 beta 4 is available. I'm running 3.4.1. You can download it for Windows 64 in exe or zip. You can download it for Windows 32 in zip. You can download it for Mac in a DMG, like disk mount file, and you download it for Linux in a tar.gzip. But we downloaded it from the Ubuntu software store, or we are downloading it from the Ubuntu software store as I speak. There's some offline components, there's a Gradle plugin and some Maven dependencies. They'll be downloaded as required. And some command line tools, they're only 150 meg, they'll be downloaded as required. These are the system requirements, I mentioned them in a previous video. I strongly recommend the HP Chromebook X36014. And because I recommend that particular Chromebook, or Google Chromebooks. So we go to the Google Chromebooks page. This is the English Australia site, so the prices will probably be in Australian dollars. Find yours. The one I recommend is this one, the HP Chromebook X36014. There it is. It's a nice looking machine. Rather nice looking machine in my opinion. So it runs the Google Chrome OS, which is the operating system, not the browser. It's got the best of Google, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and a little bit more. You can get questions, you can ask them. Internet connection is required to use Google Chrome OS, really. Without internet connection, you're sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place. I've got a couple more tabs open, we'll see how the install's going. Because it's 72%. And I'll see if I can drag that over a little bit. So we got Meet Android Studio. Building support for the cloud platform, project structure, everything's organized rather nicely. There's a user interface, it's a little bit complicated if you've never used it before, it might be a bit crowded for some people on a small screen. Hopefully you got a laptop with a 1920 by 1080 or 1920 by 1200 display, or a 1680 by 1050 or similar display. We've got tool windows, we've got code completion, navigation, all the good stuff, everything you need to build an Android. These are the preview releases I was talking about before. Don't have to worry about those. We've got release notes from April 2019. It's currently 17th of June 2019. So this is the major release. There's a video here if you want to watch it. It's not probably worth watching in my opinion. So I'll pin that tab and might pin this tab as well. That's the download page that we looked at. Then we got what's new. Then we've got the user guide. And we've got the preview page. Installing it. That's useful. I'll pin that. Downloading it again. Downloading it again. What's new? User guide. What's new? Oh, this is SDK tools. What's new? The Wikipedia page. I'll pin that. It's probably useful. There's a quick start guide on Arc. For Arc. AR Core. I might pin that. It looks like it's installed now. And we've got some courses on Udemy you might be worth looking at. And I've got some Kotlin stuff that might be worth looking at later. So then I won't launch from there because you wouldn't normally do it. Normally you would just go over to the left side of the screen, down to Show Applications, and then you would click on Android Studio. If it doesn't come up, it might be because you're infrequent. So I got Firefox Software Updater, and it's not in the list. So if I go into All, Android Studio, there it is. Boom, 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 boom. And that should load. Do not import settings when you load it for the first time, unless you desperately have settings you want to import. Most people don't. 99.9% of people don't. Data sharing I recommend opting into. And you can see I've downloaded 1.6 gig on top of Ubuntu itself. That's inclusive of Android Studio, of course. So we've got the wizard. I might go custom just to show you what it's like. We can go Darkular or light. I'll go Darkular. We've got the SDK, the Android virtual device. So I'll download some more stuff. That's going to download another 1.72 gig on top of the 1.6 gig I've already downloaded. Okay, we've got enhanced performance mode, which is good. That's the end of the wizard, so we click on finish. And now we play the waiting game. Plus Ubuntu is about just runs up to 2000. So the total download is about 5.3 gig. 5.2 to 5.3 gig of total downloads for the day, if that's what you want to do. May take you some time to download everything. And even my download speed's going a bit slow. I've only got 2 bars at the moment. That might be why. See if I get 3. It doesn't want to give me 3 bars, so it doesn't matter. Still downloading at 2 megasecond or so, or peaking at 2 megasecond when it does download. Excuse me. So while this is downloading, I might take a look at the Wikipedia page if we want. So I'll just drag that over there so we can see the download progress. So what is Android Studio? Android Studio is the official integrated development environment, or IDE, for Google's Android operating system, built on IntelliJ and designed specifically for Android development. It's available for download on Windows, Mac, Linux, and now Chrome OS. It is a replacement for the Eclipse Android development tools, which is the very old school way of doing things for Android as the primary integrated development environment for native Android application development, using the SDK and the NDK, the software development kit and the native development kit. It was first announced on the 16th of May in 2013. So how long ago was that? Let's see if we can figure that out. Numbers. Was it Calc? LibreOffice Calc? Let's load LibreOffice. Okay, we got LibreOffice running. So the 16th of May, 2013. And today is the 17th of June, so I can subtract the newer date. B2, sorry, A2 from A1, A1 to A2. So if I divide that by 365, I'll get the approximate number of years. So it's 6 years old and a little bit, 6 years and a little bit. So do modulus 365.25. Doesn't like the 25. Doesn't like the modulus. Mod 365. No, don't know how to do modulus in calc. Oh well, I'll figure it out later. So anyway, it's 6 years old. 6.08 years old. Lit up calculator on the phone, so we got 2223 minus 365 a quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 31.5 days, approximately. And now I'm finished with calc, so I will close it off and I will not save it. I will minimize it so it goes away. At the Google I/O conference on May 16, 2013, it was an early access preview stage, starting from version 0.1, so really old school. Then entered beta stage testing, starting from version 0.8, which was released approximately a year and a bit later. The first stable release was in December 2014. That was when it got to version 1. And since the 7th of May this year, Kotlin is Google's preferred language. So I'll load up the Kotlin tab and have a look at that one as well. And these are Wikipedia articles, so we've got some features, we've got some screenshots. It's developed by Google and JetBrains. Okay, everyone knows who Google is. JetBrains might not be familiar to you. The latest stable release is only 25 days old, so it's pretty good. The latest preview release is only 12 days old, so it's only less than 2 weeks. We've got the repo, we've got Java, Kotlin, C++, Windows, Mac, Linux, Chrome OS. Size about 1 gig. It's a freeware license plus source code, and it's available from developer.android.com/studio. It features the following in the current stable version: Gradle. What's Gradle? I don't know. Let's have a look. Gradle is an open source build automation system. Okay, fantastic. So if you don't know something, you just click on it. Android specific refactoring. What's refactoring? Code refactoring is the process of restructuring existing computer code, changing the factoring without changing its external behavior. It's intended to improve non-functional attributes of code, blah, 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 blah. Lint tools. What's lint? You can click on it and find out with the middle mouse button. ProGuard integration. So that's a code signing thing. Open source command line tool that shrinks, optimizes, and obfuscates Java code. It is able to optimize bytecode as well as detect and remove unused instructions. It may do a few extra things beyond that, to be brutally honest. I think it does. We've got template-based wizards, we've got a rich layout editor, we can preview the layouts, building Android Wear apps, which are like the watch. I believe Google Wear OS, also known as Wear OS by Google and previously called Android Wear. This for wearables, pairing with mobile phones running 4.3 or newer. I'm only going to target 4.0.3 or 4.0.4, maybe 4.4, which I believe is KitKat later. It's got built-in support. This is back on the Android Studio subject. Built-in support for the Google Cloud Platform. Firebase Cloud Messaging, previously called Google Cloud Messaging, and the Google App Engine. And it's got the good one, my favorite, Android Virtual Device Emulation, which is the best feature of them all because you don't have to plug in a phone all the time to test stuff. Although if you do have an Android phone, just plug it into your laptop and deploy straight to it. Probably save you a bit of time. Android Studio supports all the same programming languages of IntelliJ and CLion, example Java, C++, and with more extensions such as Go, which is a Google language. Android 3 supports Kotlin and all Java 7 language features and a subset of Java 8 language features that vary by platform version. So if you've got a book on Java 6, Java 7, or Java 8, don't throw it out, you're already up to date. External projects backport some Java 9 features, so if you've got a book on Java 9, don't throw it out because it's still up to date. While IntelliJ, the Android Studio is built on supports all released Java versions and Java 12. It's not clear what level Android Studio supports. Java version up to 12, blah blah blah. It's in 12, which is Android. Okay, so we've got system requirements. This is for version 3, I believe. Yes, version 3.x. Windows, Mac, Linux with GNOME or KDE, and Chromos. Chromos needs a bit more RAM, but most good Chromebooks come with 8 gig. It says 3 gig minimum, 8 gig recommended, plus 1 gig for the emulator. So, 3 gig plus 1 gig is 4 gig. So if you've got 4 gig, you're home and host. 6 gig available disk space recommended, 16 gig, 6 gig minimum, 16 gig recommended. 1700 meg for the IDE plus 4.5 gig for the Android SDK and emulator system image. It supports GDK 8 and the use of bundled OpenGDK is recommended, and a recommended screen resolution of 1280 by 800 is recommended. Version 2, older school, doesn't support Chrome OS, funnily enough. You would think it would, but it doesn't. Mac 10.9.5 versus Mac 10.10 Yosemite. Up to 10.13 and 14, which is High Sierra and Mojave, which is what I run on this one. Pretty much similar version history, a whole bunch of version history. I use Cosmos, so we got some good stuff there. And yes, we can go to the next page. I'll just message one of my friends. Dear. What to do? Next time. I'm recording a video. Be back soon. So we got the Kotlin programming language, which you can freely read about on the Wikipedia page. We've got Gradle, which you can freely read about on the Wikipedia page. It's a build automation system. It builds stuff. You've got a million files to build. It builds them quicker. Designed for multi-project builds, which can grow to be quite large. Incremental builds, blah blah blah, all usual stuff. Oh no, poor Cosmos. Oh dear, poor Cosmos. is okay. Is okay. Then we got lint. Oh, it's unzipping. It's almost finished the system image. We can minimize some stuff. We got quick start for Android. This is the augmented reality core. Pretty hardcore stuff. There's a video of how it sort of works with some AR Android androids. So this is a real environment with a fake 3D augmented reality over it from SceneKit. Here we've got some Udemy courses. They might cost money. They probably do. I'm willing to teach people Java for free, by the way. It's just a hobby of mine. I'm learning Android development. Oh dear, dear. Went to school crying. Not good. Might close Facebook temporarily. We got JetBrains. Okay, there we go. Looks nice. Android virtual device. We can click on finish now. And I'll jump into terminal and type in uptime. How long is it taking me? I've been up for 45 minutes since 45 minutes ago, and it's now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So if we go into start a new Android project. I'll find a teacher. Wait, what? Why is Facebook sending me pop-ups? I thought I closed it. Anyway, you can go to start a new Android Studio project. We can go basic activity or empty activity, or you can really pick any of them. You can go Google Maps activity if you want. We'll do a Google Maps activity this time. We'll go my very first Maps application. My very first. I'll put a dot there for the sake of it. Change the language from Kotlin to Java. If it is not on Java, change it to Java. Ice cream sandwich is my favorite target, or Kit Kat. And then we click on finish and it does a whole bunch of automatic stuff for us, so we don't have to write 10 million lines of code by ourselves. Loading the project, we can maximize this window, and then we can just play the waiting game. So we got some Gradle scripts running. That won't take too long on this machine. You can see them hammering away right now. Ah, it's doing some downloads. There we go. So it's downloading at about 4 megaseconds. Oh, it's finally speeding up. There we go. That's nice. Nice stuff. 2.5, 3, 4, 5, 3 and a bit. Let's get some processes running. Shouldn't take too long. So we can see we've downloaded 3.5 gig plus Ubuntu, which is 2 gigs. So we've downloaded 5.5 gig today. And you can minimize that off. I can go what's new in 3.4. You can actually see some new stuff because I'm not running the screen resolution ridiculously low like I was last time. Close the assistant. We can go to app. We can go source. We can go main. We can go Java. We can go maps activity.java. There's some source code for maps. Here's an Android manifest file. We've got they've changed the organization of the project. Gradle wrapper. No, I don't want Gradle wrapper. No, I don't want Gradle wrapper. I think I want app, source, release, Google Maps API XML. No, that's not what I want. This values file. Android test. No, that's not it. Comex of XML, that's not it. Then that's a manifest file. You can go to Java. So we got maps activity Java, we can go to res, layout, activity maps, and Android manifest. They've got some map maps, got some values. They have changed the user interface on me slightly, so I don't know where to look. Gradle, I have my doubts. I'm probably using a dot folder. So I'm assuming if you under app, source, Android test, that's a Java file. We've got main release, in res, layout, activity maps XML, release, Google Maps API. Usually the XML files have a design and text tab for the XML, but obviously the maps one does not. There's a unit test. I can't go run yet because I've got to set up an AVD. So we've got the Nexus 5. That's a good one to use, I think, on this particular machine. It is anyway. So I can launch the emulator. Unable to connect. It's booting up. Google logos on the screen. Powered by Android. Each one's got a slightly different intro. Now it's loading the app. I believe it's loading the app. It looks like it's bouncing in a dock or something. So I'm using 7.5 gig of RAM. This is on a Linux machine, by the way. And we're downloading at 2.5 megaseconds, so it's hammering the connection. There we go. It seems to have finished. Now it might reboot something in a minute. So I click on play. We'll get the ADB up. We've got the Nexus 5X running API version 29. This is for testing on that particular platform. And I'll just go into example unit test. No, I don't want to go example unit test. I want to go maps activity. That's better. I'll go over here. It should be loading up. Okay, it's not loading up anything. The maps API might not work on the emulator. Look off this. Click it up. Okay, you gotta push up, not right. It's different. I can message, I can load Chrome. I don't want to muck around with that too much there, so I'll flick you off. Drag up from the bottom. We've got the app that I want to find called First. No. Pick up from the bottom of the screen. There should be a app here that I've installed. I don't know if there is. Click that one off. What's this? Welcome to Android Auto. Okay, that's not what I want. And click on the deployment button. Run anything. No, that's not what I want to do. Nexus 5. It doesn't take very long to run. I go into the app and that's what I get. I just get that. That's not very good. So if I flick up from the bottom and I go to maps, I might actually get maps. There we go. So there's an example of what the maps app actually looks like when it's working. Mine isn't. I'll just close it off. You get the gist. And hold down 3 seconds over the power button, and just click on power off, and it will shut down the phone. It will give me a black screen momentarily, I hope. There we go. But you get the general idea of what you can do. I'll end the video now, so I'll just go into Firefox and figure out the shortcut key for stop recording, which is Super Control F.